Kia ora. Kia ora. Welcome. This is a collective reading for this full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio, which is happening tomorrow. There's been a big build up to it, of course. We've been in the middle of two eclipses since the last full moon. Did I say that? Yeah. So let's get the cards on the table. Remember, these are very general readings, obviously, for the collective. Just trying to feel the general vibes. Quite frankly, I'm kind of pleased that this whole nodal axis of Scorpio and Taurus is just about to shift into Aries and Libra. It's a relief, actually, for me as a heavily Scorpionic, Gemini and Taurian individual. So interested to know what your experiences of the last year or two have been. But let's get the cards on the table. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. This is a storyline, and if it does resonate, you'll know very quickly. So thanks again for joining me, and very much appreciate all those people that have commented and do comment. Very much appreciate it. So let's just see overarching general energies for this full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio. We've got two cards coming out here. I think we've been working away on this. Obviously we have been for quite a long time. This is part of a continuum, as every phase of the moon is, as much as all the planetary movements that are continuous. So we've got, and we will talk about it a little bit more, we always clarify on this channel as well. And this time round, I didn't feel the need to do any readings at the new moon time. In fact, I didn't feel any need to do any readings at that time, simply because of various other things that have been going on. So I do appreciate it if you are a subscriber and you're coming back, or if you've just tuned in. I was going to say something else. Anyway, let's keep shuffling. We've got the Seven of Cups and the Three of Cups coming out here for overarching general energies. Let's get a couple more cards here. We've got the Ace of Wands coming out, very fiery. Highly pressured. A pressured time. And a precious time, let's face it. We're here to live in these times. So it's quite a gift. It is quite a gift. Okay, we've got a very clear storyline here for this, as they say, penumbral eclipse. So let us start. Seven of Cups. In the Thoth deck we are using Seven of Cups. The nature of water is that it's designed, its whole identity is about flow, you could say. When we get to a 7, and there's a lot of assessments going on, there's a lot of possibly rumination also, we see a level of stagnation here. It's not hard to look around anywhere that you are in the world and see this thing that we're moving through. How long that takes, where we come out, well, that's on an individual level up to us, isn't it, I guess, and our choices, and collectively also. As I said, when we're heading into that nodal axis of Aries and Libra, it is all about relationship and relating and how we get on and that the fact that we need to utilize each other, we need to work with each other. I digress. We go back to the Seven of Cups. The nature of water is that it needs to move. And the Seven of Cups, the name in the Thoth deck of this card is called debauch. Is not to say that the world is in a pit of debauchery, but on a moral level, maybe sometimes it's easy to think that. With that card, we also had the Three of Swords. We understand sorrow, we understand what that is in our lives, we understand what it has been and presented itself collectively over many years. History is very important. We move then to this beautiful gift. Like all gifts, we can use it wisely or unwisely. The Ace of Wands, amazing vitality, creativity, experimental. We have a lot on hand to utilize in a new way. To utilize in a new way. It is a gift. Then, the Fool, new beginnings, new beginnings. We've got fresh growth. Unencumbered by the past. We need to be aware of the past. We don't let the past act as an anchor to hold us in a place that has long passed. Open to new things, open to, I guess, the new things on the block at the moment, new developments in AI and all of that, technology generally. New things also encompass people's levels of sensitivity rising, becoming more acute. When we embody the Fool, we take off and we understand this is a new journey, one that we have not embarked on before. That's why it's new. Then we have the beautiful Death card, transformation. This is a transformational time. We're dealing with this full moon eclipse in Scorpio. Scorpio is all about transformation. It's all about shifting and moving, experiential understanding in order to take it into the now and onward. And then Eight of Cups, create a good buffer zone around you, whether that's psychically or emotionally. This is very useful, and it has been coming up, this card, in a lot of the readings over the last at least few months to 6 months. Very important, where we know we've worked for these. We've gone beyond the 7 and its stagnation, its level of assessments that possibly never are resolved. Therefore, we stagnate. We come to the 8. We appreciate these 8 cups. We've worked for them. But we understand we need a level of objectivity here. In whatever way this is occurring, we see it occurring collectively. We need to allow a buffer zone between ourselves, as seems to be the theme that's running all the time, between ourselves and this sort of blast of what you would call psychic free radicals, media, what is true, what is false, all of that. It's sort of become almost pointless to try and understand that. So we come back to ourselves and create that level of objectivity. On the top of the deck, actually, is always kind of interesting to see. We've got, and on the bottom, on the top, we've got a beautiful, balanced, reciprocal, probably one of the most harmonious cards, the Two of Cups. In the Thoth deck, it's called love. And on the bottom, we've got the impulsive Knight of Wands, breathing fire, flame-throwing, reactionary, and very compulsive. This is a triggered character, common word used these days, triggered. So let's go through. We clarify with lovely Morgan Greer here. For the collective, we say. It is for the collective. Let's look at the 7 of Cups. This is really where we want to go with it. We have the 10 of Cups, the ultimate satisfaction, and the emotional realms, and the expression of it, the doing of it, talking about love with the Empress, this beautiful creative spark, nurture, the spark of life, the burgeoning cell, the buzzing of the bee. This is the Empress, the salty seas of Binah, the beginning of all life. We are part of that. We see a lot of flowing, that rainbow here as a river. The rainbow is a river. A lot of flowing water here, unlike that 7. This is a directive. Create, nurture, and actually in an alternative parallel universe, we may well be seeing that out in the world. But generally speaking, and I guess that's because news, that's what media feeds on, is war and destruction. No doubt there is a lot of that going on. I'm not making light of that at the moment. Anywho, we're looking at the 3 of Swords, a card of sorrow, let's face it. Pain, whether it's in the past, it's everyone's experience in this life. That is what being human is. We experience pain and sorrow. Clarifying that, we've got the Ace of Swords. We still have to abide by, I was going to say natural law, because really that's the only law, isn't it? We can drown in the stagnating waters of sorrow. We can't stay there very long. We need to take this gift of truth, personal, collective, on. And truth almost has become a fuzzy word these days, hasn't it? What is in the micro is in the macro. It starts with you. Understanding yours without inflicting it on anyone else. Ace of Wands. So 2 beautiful aces here. Ace of Wands, vitality. We have the ability to utilize that Ace of Wands. It fuels our creativity. And it fuels movement, because it's about the will. It is fire. It fuels action. I'll just get one more card. We've got the it fuels action, dear friends. We take it on as a gift. We utilize it in a way that has a level of integrity and congruency for ourselves. That in itself plays out in the wider world. We've got the 8 of Wands here. Messages coming through quickly. speed of information increases. We need to, we need a level of self-responsibility as to what we choose to expose ourselves to and what we don't. You don't want to be with your camel with your head in the sand scenario. At the same time, focus is required with that Ace of Wands, of fire, of will. We balance the heart with the head. With that we have judgment. We know judgment. Speaking of natural law before, that is the ultimate judgment, is it not? We're talking about the law of nature, the law of balance, because that's all that it's about, is balance. The foal. The foal, please. Beautiful. Potentials, beginnings, new growth, new life, vitality, fun, all of it. It's all here. Collectively, it's all here. And it is just a matter of timing. Predictably so. Temperance, alchemy, mixing of the waters, mixing of the elements. We're in time zone here. Looking at the death card, at transformative, for sure, the transformational qualities of endings and beginnings, of new growth. Then, Eight of Cups. Going to pull a Brian Froud. Fixing Fairy card in a moment. What have I got here? Eight of Cups. Create a buffer zone here. Working hard in the material world. We're speaking here about the collective working hard in this, look, even the whole concept of time is shifting, reality is shifting. That it turns into, I guess in some ways you could look at it in an abstract sense, turning into a, the world as a whole, the systems within that turn into a sort of holographic image, that it just depends what angle you're looking at it from. Imagine yourself in a big circle with this hologram. Everyone's walking around the circle looking at it from different perspectives from different angles. We see different things in that. And it's forever shifting, of course. Now there's a point where I'm speaking about this, I'm not quite sure. Here we go, back to the cards. Page of discs. This is slow release. I always feel with the page or the Prince of Discs, because all the groundwork, emphasis on ground and underground work has been done. So we're getting the cracking of the seed that may have been sitting in that earth for quite a while. We get results from it. We see new beginnings from it. We see new life from it. We understand the necessity for this at this current time, this buffer zone. So we've got this hard-working, nitrogen releasing page, who in the Morgan Greer deck is often a messenger as well. And then we have the Ten of Swords. The epiphany comes eventually. We've all had them, haven't we? Where we understand the hand gesture in this card to be that, oh right, the penny just dropped. I've gone through this whole suit. I've gone through it. And it's time. And it's the right time. Temperance, to start off anew. The Fool, where we really understand all of the experiences of the sword suit. And in fact, we started with the Ace and we end with the 10 of Swords. On one last note, before I pick up some new cards here, we understand that what we do to ourselves, we also do to others. It's very glib to sort of possibly to say that, but it is the nature of natural law. Let's get a Brian Froud, beautiful pixie and fairy. Beautiful, yes indeed. Unity, it's about joining together to create a living thing, a living energy, a living entity. We're not enmeshed here. We're not clinging on, dependent. We're collective. These collective threads can join to create something and contribute something very, very new and very special. I love the fairy oracle. What we need to understand is our frequency within the heart zone, the ability to express honestly. This is a beautiful card. It's called Honesty. It starts in the micro and extends to the macro. It's a challenge. It's a challenge for humanity. If we could, what's on the top of the deck is the Master Maker. If we could master it, would that not be a wonderful thing? Master it with wisdom. I suspect that our Martian tendencies, as in Mars, Martian tendencies, are our biggest challenge at the moment. Always, actually, have always been. Eye on the prize. And saying that, you know, we've got the Cobra, Kim Cran's animal, zeroed in. Not only in terms of, we're talking about different qualities of our sensory selves here. That I think in all of this have, in all of the developments over the last few years, our sensory nature is expanding, is extending, encompasses more than just those 5 senses. We are beginning to understand that. Some people have always understood that and not been afraid of it or skeptical of it. You know, we see the frequency of a heartbeat and that interaction and the knowing of what, you know, people and things, whatever that are around you and how that impacts that area. We're talking sensory expansion, Cobra, frequency, sound. And then we have the shark. Literally not overly visual, but an incredible sense of scent. You know, we combine all of these things, but we are extending all of these senses, you know, the 5 senses plus more. That is why the 8 of Cups collectively, individually, is a very important card to create a level of objectivity. And we're talking about emotional objectivity. It can be difficult. On that note, I hope you have a wonderful full moon eclipse in Scorpio. I'll be pleased when we're venturing through that doorway and off and onward again. Some new things coming through. On that note, thanks for joining me. If you made it to the end of this video, I'm doing the elements because we're all made up of various elements. You personally will know yourself whether you're heavily weighted in a certain area, whether that's earth or fire or water or a balance or a mix of two. You know, you kind of, if you look up your chart, have a look, your astrology chart, and you'll see what that makeup is. No doubt you would have had an inkling of it way before now in your life. On that note, thanks for joining me. Ka kite, and we'll see you next time.